Hello, and thank you for joining me. In today's video, I am going to take the pom pom that I made in how to make pom poms video. If you didn't watch that video, I will put a link in the description box below. I'm going to use the pom pom and I am going to make a gnome. Now these gnomes, I've made them before. They're a great way to use like scrap yarn, but they also make a great thoughtful gift, whether that be for a friend, a family member, a coworker, just a little inexpensive gift to say, I'm thinking about you. So what you'll need for this project is a toilet paper roll, some cotton balls. I have some wooden beads here, little round wooden beads, scissors. I have like jute here. Now you can use yarn or whatever, just something to tie a hanger with if you plan on hanging the gnome. Some yarn, and I just have some partially used, a skein of purple here, a pom-pom of course, a glue gun, hot glue gun, or another form of glue that's going to stick real well, and some googly eyes. That's optional. I also have a few different embellishments here. Again, that's optional. And then I have a piece of cardboard. This cardboard is 10 inches long. Now I cut mine like 2.5 inches wide. The width just depends on what's easiest for your hand to handle, because this is what we're going to make the strings with for our gnome hat. I want to start with the toilet paper roll, and I just want to kind of bend that down a little bit. And I'm not going to measure, but I want to cut it across approximately about a half-inch of thickness. That's approximately a half an inch. And you can make it wider if you want. This is going to be the hat, the rim of the hat. So I've got that cut. And now what I want to do, let me move some of this stuff out of the way here, is I'm going to take my yarn and my piece of cardboard, and I want to wrap it 25 times. So I'm just going to hold my cardboard there and start wrapping it. 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to hold that cardboard as straight as I can. I lost count. Whoops, because I want my strings to be about the same length. Let me pull some more of that out. I lost count, so we're just gonna, if I need to cut more, I will. Once you get it wrapped 25 times, I'm gonna cut that extra yarn off and move that out of the way. What you want to do is you want to take your scissors, cut that end, turn it over, and cut that in. And even if they're not the exact same size, we'll be doing some trimming. And then I'm going to start making the hat. And in order to make the hat, I mean, it's not real difficult. You just take one of your little strings, try to make sure they're as even as possible. I'm going to pull the loop up and then pull the yarn through. Now you can use a crochet needle for that. I'm going to do a few of them this way, and then I'm going to do it a little bit different to show you the difference in the rim. It depends on how you want the rim of your hat, because this is going to be, this little toilet paper roll is going to be the rim of the hat. And when you put those, you want to make sure they're like close together. The more you put on, you can scooch them so that they're snug as a bug in a rug. So let me just put a few of these on because I want to show you the difference. This is the way I like to do it. Now there's 3, and if you look here, I like those little knots like that, because when you're going to actually turn the yarn inward. So this is going to be the rim of the hat, and I like those on there. But let's do it a little bit differently. And I'm going to put the loop down and then pull it through. See, up is what I like best, I guess, because I'm used to it. But I'm going to actually poke the loop down. Let me do a few of those and I'll show you the difference. All right, loop down, pull through. Do 3 of each, I guess. But then I'll pull these back off because I actually want my loop up. One more. All right, let me scoot those close together so you can see the difference. Now you can see the difference there. Again, you know, we will, once we're done looping all of these, we're going to pull them through the ring. And this will be the rim of the hat. And as you can see, the loop up, I like the way that looks. And the loop down is just a straight edge. So it just depends on which way you prefer it. But I do like my loop up. So let me take these off. And what we're going to do is you want to continue to loop these all the way around. So I'm going to finish doing that off camera and I'll meet you back here when I'm at the end. Okay, I have it wrapped all the way around and it's snug as a bug. And I've tried to pull them as tight as possible. Now what you want to do is push them through to the other side. And then try to straighten them up once you get there. And I want them as straight as possible. And right now I have a curious little cat over here looking at the yarn, so hopefully she won't cause any chaos. All right, I'm going to set that down and I'm going to grab a piece of the thing I want to tie, and I would rather cut too large than too small. It's easier to just cut some off if you make it too large versus trying to redo the whole thing. And I'm going to tie this around a cotton ball. And I'm going to try to do it just as tight as possible with a knot. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to look beautiful or anything. I just want to make sure it's snugged on there. Like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to push the cords in first because I want to be able to tie it onto something. Now, if you wanted to, you don't have to tie it up on something. You can make like a pair of cardboard feet or something to put your gnome on, but I like to tie it up like that. And now what I want to do is I want to take my little hat. Let me grab a piece of yarn because, again, I'd rather have it too long than too short. Because what I want to do is I want to form my little hat, and I will be putting at least one more cotton ball in here. But I want to go ahead and form my little hat and get it tied off. Trying to make sure that yarn is as straight as possible. And again, trying to do it as evenly as possible, which generally speaking is easier said than done for me. Let me go ahead and I want to get that on there good and snug and tie a knot or two in it. Pulling it tight without breaking the yarn, because I have done that so many times. All right, I'm going to get a knot in here. Good knot. Put that yarn up out of the way. And then what I want to do is I want to trim the top of the hat, but I also want to be careful because I do not, let me go ahead and tie a knot in there. I don't want to accidentally cut the thing I want to hang it with. But we're trying to make it look like, some people call it a stocking cap, some people call it a beanie, some people call it a toboggan, but we're just trying to make a little hat here. And this is going to be kind of like a little pom-pom on top of this hat. And again, I want to be very careful as to not cut my hanger. Let me see if I can get that a little bit smaller up there. I really want it to look like a pom-pom on top of this hat. And I've actually made these for my daughter-in-law. I would give her a different one every month with a theme for that month. I mean, like for Valentine's Day, a little gnome that looked with hearts or whatever on it. For Christmas, a Christmas looking gnome, and so on. So you can do that, or like if you want to make one for a teacher, embellish it with something that's geared toward teachers, like an apple or whatever. Now that I've got that, that's what I've got so far. I'm going to actually take the hot glue, and I want to glue around in here because I want to make sure that this little guy stays in place. And once I get the glue in there, I'm going to actually stuff it with one more cotton ball. So I'm just going to take that glue around. Of course, I didn't have my stick in there all the way. Let me see if I can get my glue gun to work. Here we go. It's always hard to start a new stick. There's probably a better way of doing it than what I do, but I don't know what that is. So I've got some glue in there. I'm going to try and shove that stick in there a little more. And I want to go ahead and stuff it with one more cotton ball. I'm going to move some of this little bitty cotton out of the way. This yarn. Let me move some of this. And then we've got, what we're going to do is put our little gnome hat on top of the pom-pom. I can get my glue gun to work. And ideally, I don't want the glue to show on this side. So I'm going to try and get it under there and be able to glue that on without the glue oozing out. And that's if my stick's going to behave. So I really want that hat to stay on. And I want to get glue on something besides just the cotton ball. It's always so hard starting a new stick. There we go. That should work now. I just didn't have it in there all the way. And this is the part you have to be careful so you don't burn your fingers. This is also something that you could do with your kids or your grandkids, depending on their age, of course. Okay, so I want that there. And now, in regards to the little wooden beads, I used, when I made these for my daughter-in-law, I actually used, they were raw wood, which was nice because it was easy to take a little blush and put it on the nose. But I couldn't find any of those when I went out and purchased beads again. So these have been coated with something shiny, and I couldn't get the blush to stick, so I just painted the tip of the nose with a little bit of pink acrylic paint. And what I want to do is I want to stick that nose underneath there where you cannot see the two bead holes. So let's see if I can maybe not burn my fingers and stick a little bit of glue on that bead and tuck that nose in there. Should have tucked it up a little bit taller, a little higher. So I wanted about, dang, 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 it's giving me fits, y'all. Let me set him down to where it's a little bit easier. Stick some glue here. Oh, my glue gun is giving me fits. Get that bead up there. I'm trying hard not to burn myself. There we go. So that's what we have so far, our little bitty gnome. Now, if you wanted, and I don't think I'm going to, but if you wanted, you could put a set of googly eyes or whatever on there, but I don't think I want to put eyes on him. And I can see the bottom of that bead hole. Get a little more glue on there. There we go. My glue gun's giving me fits. I just glued the fur to him, or the yarn. That nose is giving me problems. Not as many as my glue gun. Now let's see if we can get it up there. Let's let it dry a little bit. So I don't really want to put googly eyes on it, but I think I do want to. I'm thinking about, it's almost May, so April showers bring May flowers. Think about flowers or butterflies. I think this is just a button. I don't know if I want a butterfly, or I kind of like that little flower. So I think I'm going to go ahead and let me glue this little flower on about right there. Now my glue gun's working. And let me let that dry. But I mean, if you, for example, if you wanted to put like an apple or maybe a little book, that'd be great for school teachers or pet paws if you want to give it to your vet or vet assistant. I mean, these are just fun little things that are real inexpensive to make, and they don't take a whole long time. And let me get that glue off of there. They don't take a whole long time. They're easy to make. It's a good way to use some of that scrap yarn you have left from your last project. But I love making these, and I made 12 of them for my daughter-in-law, a total of one a month to capture whatever the theme for that month was. But that's how I make the little gnomes, and they're cute. You can hang them all over a tree. I've got that glue stuck to me. They're cute. You can hang them all over a tree or wherever. She would hang them on her desk every month, which I thought was cute. That did my heart well. Anyhow, that's how you make a pom-pom gnome. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I do want to thank you for watching and ask you to please consider hitting the like and share buttons, and if you haven't already, the subscribe button. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time. Thank you.